Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the Farmer's Table. Tonight, we're not going to be in the kitchen. We're actually going to go cook dinner outside. This isn't necessarily a recipe. I'm going to share with you what I'm cooking, so I guess kind of like a cook with me video. But I'm scaling this up, probably a little bigger than most of you will want to do. If you wanted, you could take this same principle idea and do it on a much smaller scale in a skillet or on a griddle inside the house, but I am going to make a whole lot of fried rice tonight on my Blackstone. All right, I'm out front of my house. We are having a very unseasonably warm day, and because of that, my Blackstone is getting some love when it has not otherwise been used over the last, I don't know, probably at least month and a half or so. My kids are playing in the yard, so they may be a little loud, and I'm not gonna hush them because they're playing outside on a nice day enjoying it. If you're unfamiliar with Blackstone, these are griddles. I have no affiliation with this company. We bought a small one for our RV when we were camping and loved it so much that we then bought a big one to use at home, and we actually ended up taking it on camping trips as well. This is a cast iron griddle top and it runs on propane. So right now this is really hot. I don't know if you can see the steam coming off of it. And tonight I'm making fried rice. I have all of my ingredients prepped. I do this in the kitchen before we come out. I've got some chopped onions. This is one large chopped onion. I've got a couple of cups of frozen peas. Normally I use like frozen peas and frozen carrots, but I just didn't have that, so I'm making do. I've got some butter here. This is made from our cows. That's why it's wrapped in a paper like that. This is 6 eggs that I have beat a little lightly. I've got some ground pork here, some soy sauce, and then I've got my seasoning. This is ground garlic. I've got some paprika, and this is ground ginger. I also have toasted sesame oil, and over here, cooked rice cooked in the rice maker. So you can do this with any sort of meat. Tonight, as I said, I'm using ground pork that we raised here on the farm, but we've done shrimp, cut up steak, ground beef, and I said I was using 6 eggs. You can also kind of bulk this up with more eggs. Like one time we had a conference that we were speaking at, and we had our RV there and our smaller Blackstone, and I ended up having several extra people that night, and I told everybody I'd feed them. So I ended up just adding an extra dozen eggs to the fried rice. This is flexible, and it's one of the reasons why I was hesitant to make a recipe, because I've never followed one. I kind of always just throw it together, and it always turns out really good. Hey Maya, have you been on the Farmer's Table?
No.
Oh, I don't think you have. Y'all, we have other YouTube channels, and so...
I do eat from the Farmer's Table every day.
You're the farmer.
It's my table.
It's your table. Well, come over here and meet my friends that have not met you.
Hello, friends I've not met.
This is Sweet Maya. This is my dear husband, who actually does a lot of the Blackstone cooking, and he's out here helping me tonight make fried rice. All right. Okay, so first thing, I've got pretty good hunk of butter, and I want to get my onions out first, as well as my frozen peas. Get that going on one side, and put the meat on the other. This takes a little bit of time because I start the rice cooker ahead of time and get the rice all cooked, but actually putting it together takes less than 15 minutes. It's super fast. And normally what I do whenever I'm cooking this, of course tonight I've got all 5 of my boys here, plus an extra teenager is here spending the night, but I always cook extra because it reheats really well. So a lot of times I'll make...
It's actually better the second time.
Yeah, it usually is better the second day. And a lot of times I'll make like a whole bunch at once. Like, as if 6 cups of rice cooked isn't a whole bunch. This is a whole bunch of food. This is 6 cups of rice and
3 pounds of meat.
Yeah, like 3 pounds of meat, and then all the other stuff. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I'll actually fill the rice cooker twice. I'll cook one batch, take it out, cook another batch. 6 pounds of meat, 7 pounds of meat, something like that. And I'll make enough, and the kids will take it for school lunch for a few days during the week.
And all that still fits on the Blackstone.
And that does still fit on this Blackstone. I can't do that like super frequently because obviously they would really burn out on it. So I got the onions going first so that they'll get nice and soft. Usually when I am using carrots, I go ahead and put them out with the onions like I did the frozen peas so that those things all get soft. It just makes my kids less fussy about the texture. And then of course I want to get the meat fully cooked. Are you going to slice and dice?
Yeah, I need 2 spatulas.
You need 2 spatulas?
Yeah. Give me an onion and I'll make a choo-choo train.
Nice. Been maybe like 6 or 7 minutes, and this meat is for the most part cooked. My onions are starting to get good and soft, and my peas are too. So I'm going to make a well in this meat. Pour my eggs in. And I'll go ahead and take my seasoning, which is ginger, paprika, and garlic powder. Oh, I forgot to mince some garlic. You should do minced garlic too. It makes it better, but by the time I go cut some up, it'll be moot. Alright, so I'm just starting to move this around and make sure these eggs are all getting cooked. Maya saved the day. We have a jar of pre-minced garlic in the back of the fridge for emergencies such as this. I prefer to use fresh, but that's okay. This is better than none. If you don't have any, you can just use dried or garlic powder. You do want to put your garlic on later. You don't want to put it on with the onions and the meat because garlic burns a lot faster. Alright, real quick, let's talk about this. This is toasted sesame seed oil. As a general rule, I do not cook with seed oils. I find them to be very inflammatory, so I like to choose other fat options. I did start this with butter. I'm not going to put a ton of this on. Literally, this is one of the only applications that I use toasted sesame seed oil. I will say, if you read about seed oils, there's kind of like an echelon of how inflammatory they can be, and though I avoid a lot of the things like canola for sure, sesame seed oil is one of the ones that they say is supposed to be a little bit better. But it really makes a difference in making homemade Asian food taste more like what we're used to eating in restaurants. And so I do put some toasted sesame seed oil on this, not a whole lot. And I just put it on at this point right before I put my rice in. You want to dump the rice? This is jasmine white rice. You can use whatever kind you like. Just going to dump it out. You want to come mix it all up? Alright, so Maya's just mixing this all together. It's a little bit of a chore with so much food. And at this point, I will see how dry it is, and I may add a little bit more of that toasted sesame seed oil to make sure that it's got a little, I don't want it necessarily coated, but I am looking for what we expect from fried rice. Now here I've got some soy sauce. This is a gluten-free soy sauce that we buy from Azure. Now, again, I don't really measure this. I did not put any salt in my seasoning because I'm going to do soy sauce. It's going to be plenty salty with this. Oh, getting shovel out. We're going to mix this all together. Of course, you can add lots more veggies. Lemongrass would be really good in this, I think. Peppers would be really good. If I had any in the garden, I might dice up some peppers and put it in here. But this is just like a really basic recipe. It's also January, so I don't have a lot of stuff growing in the garden. I didn't have any carrots in the freezers. Either way, this is a really good dinner. You can make a whole lot of food at once, especially if you're doing it on an outdoor griddle like this. And it's not very colorful without the carrots, but it is going to be really tasty. We have this big pan we'll fill up to take back in the house. What do you call that, Maya?
This is my fried rice shovel.
Oh, the fried rice shovel. Dinner without a bunch of pots and pans to cook. To wash. A lot of times I have less dishes to wash. This time I tidily put everything in different bowls so you could see it. But usually what I do is I'll have one big bowl and I'll chop all the onions, I'll throw the frozen peas and carrots in, and I'll throw everything together in order of when it goes on the grill. But that's it. It's turned off. We're going inside. So one thing I would have done tonight if I had time, and I don't, I would have gotten a cabbage out of my garden, and then after I got the rice off, I would have sliced up a cabbage with some onions and fried that as well on here and just cooked that on the Blackstone just like I just did that rice till it cooked down and was soft. And then that way we could do kind of like bowls with that and then throw some like kimchi or something fermented on it. That is something I like to do, but we're in a hurry. Like, I'm turning this video off and going in, letting my kids scarf their food, and then we have to leave. So I just wanted to show you guys what kind of a fast dinner that we're cooking in preparation of having leftovers looks like, especially something as flexible as this, that you can use a lot of garden food and fresh food and create it from real ingredients and not go get takeout and not spend a bunch of money on that or eat stuff that has ingredients in it that you don't want. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I bless you. Until next time.